Hello and welcome back to Create with Chidex. My name is Chidima, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I made a cake that looks like a red onion. But unlike a real onion, this one's not going to make you cry when you cut it. So let's get started. I'm starting off by rubbing some vegetable fat on real onion bulbs. I'll be using these onions as molds to make the skin for my cake onion. Here I've got a sheet of edible wafer paper. So I'm mixing two colors, edible red gel color and edible blue color with some vodka to make purple. And then using a soft brush, I'm gonna paint this all over the wafer paper. After painting the top part of the paper, I'll flip it over, then paint the back. So I'm trying as much as possible to saturate the wafer paper so that it will mold better on the onion when I drape it over it. Now that I've finished painting, I'll drape the paper over the already prepared onion. Then gather it at both edges and pinch it together. To help it mold better, I'll also paint some additional vodka all over the surface of the paper. I'll make some more edible wafer paper onion skins. Then I'll leave all of them to dry before I move on to the next step. My wafer paper onion skins are dry, so I'll try to separate them from the real onion. I'm trying to do this gently so that I don't damage them. Now I'm going to move on to cake. I've got a small piece of cake here which I'm splitting it to two pieces. Then I'll spread some buttercream on one of the pieces before placing the second piece on top of it. Now I'll start carving the cake. I'll be carving it into a small ball. Now that the cake is all carved up, I'll apply buttercream all over the surface of the cake, and when I'm done, I'll put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. The first coat of buttercream has hardened up in the freezer, so I'm applying a second one. Next, I'll use my flexi smoother to smoothen the cake. Now I'll cover my cake with my edible wafer paper onion skin. First of all, I'm covering the bottom part of the cake. And I'll use a scissors to trim away any irregular piece.
Gotta save me from myself. This emptiness, it hurts like hell. My good intentions let me down. I keep getting in my way. My stubborn pride will dig my grave.
I reserved the best wafer paper skin for the top of the cake, so I'll apply it now. Now it's time to make the root part of the onion. I'm using edible wafer paper to make that as well. I'm cutting this small sheet of wafer paper into tiny strips, very thin strips. Before I start attaching the wafer paper roots, I will attach a small piece of the wafer paper onion skin to the bottom of the cake. And because this piece is small, I used buttercream to attach it to the body of the cake to help it stick better. I mixed some cocoa powder with edible yellow gel color and some vodka. And when I had gotten the color that I wanted, I started painting individual strips and attaching them to the cake. After attaching the wafer paper roots, I used a thin brush with pointed tips to lightly brush darker shades of purple lines on the cake. And there you have it. Our onion cake is done. Now I'm going to cut the cake.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!